F. Kennedy. Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Allison. The World Health Organization says there's been a rise in the number of people who are binge drinking, and it's a trend among people of all ages. Binge drinking can cause liver problems. It can also contribute to depression and other mental disorders. Clinical psychotherapist Cindy Crane joins us now to talk about who is at risk and how to avoid sliding into alcohol abuse. Thank you, Cindy, for coming in today. And that's the thing, that's interesting to talk about is binge drinking versus alcohol abuse and dependency. These are different things here. Describe to us what each of those look like.
Right. So I think a lot of us assume alcoholics look like falling down drunks. They're not us. And truly, alcohol abuse and dependence can look like any of us. And the difference between abuse could be just binge drinking on a Friday or Saturday night, and that could be a college student, that could be a mom or a dad. And in the same light, alcohol dependence could be any of those people too, but you need it sort of every day in your system.
Okay. And you wanted to point out specifically, we think of binge drinking as the college students or the high school students, but you say you're seeing more and more of this being the stressed moms and the stressed dads.
Yeah, and that's like the secret, scary story that's really going on. We know that young people are more likely to abuse alcohol. It's part of the culture. What we think of as being responsible parents, this isn't part of the culture, but we see wine being poured everywhere, even at play dates, sort of celebrating the end of a soccer game, and certainly, cocktail parties on the weekends, and it's starting to become a problem.
So what are the big signs, would you say, that if, either of yourself to be noticing or a loved one to notice that, hey, this is a problem?
I think we always notice when something is getting in the way of your functioning. So if that means that you're missing work, if it means that you are potentially putting yourself in an embarrassing situation because people see that you're drinking, they take your keys away. If it's getting in the way of your being able to do your day-to-day functions, affecting your relationships with others, these are all warning signs.
Okay. What are the physical and emotional tolls that we're really seeing here that are taking, there's a much bigger issue with depression, anxiety. What happens? Right.
Well, I think in general, we also talk about alcohol being a way of sort of self-medicating. For stress, that's a given. Oh, I've had a terrible day. I'm just going to have a cocktail. But very often, it's a depressant. It's a depressant itself, but it also affects depression. It makes it worse, makes anxiety worse. And so we can see mental health symptoms, but it can also cause increased risk of cancer, of liver problems, certainly of GI problems. And so these are other factors, not least of which is when you're drinking, falling down, having a car accident, God forbid, killing yourself or someone else.
Okay, so what really are the steps you should take? What if it's, like a family member that notices, okay, there's a problem here.
Yeah.
It's a very delicate situation to approach. How do you do that?
It is hard, but I think intervention early is always the most helpful with any kind of disorder. So speaking up kindly and saying, look, I care about you and I'm seeing this pattern in your behavior. I think it's worth you talking to a professional and getting a professional assessment and getting help. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but it's because I care about you.
Okay. Other issues perhaps as well that the binge drinking can contribute to?
Other issues certainly are that job loss, friendship loss, loss of self-esteem, and the ongoing medical effects and mental health effects, particularly if you have pre-existing conditions, can exacerbate any of those issues and make worse.
All right. Cindy Crane with Crane Counseling, thanks so much for talking with us. It's one of those issues that everybody kind of quietly, maybe makes a notion about, but they don't really speak about it. So
we need to start paying more attention to it, Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Stephen Allison, back over to you.
All right. Thanks, Sarah. Tucker's with us, too, as we take another look at what